What's going on, everybody? It is your man, Cleveland Terry, back with another review of a product that has actually been reviewed a little while ago. Not by me, by other people. And I know I'm a little late to the party, but I'm here, right? That's all that really matters. So today we're going to talk about the Flex 6, the mid-level controller from the good folks at Pioneer. Now, this is going to be a rather quick video because I did give you my thoughts video a couple of weeks back, but now since I've had a chance to use it, I kind of want to give you my legitimate thoughts on the product after using it for a little while. The Flex 6 is an interesting device. It's a mid-level controller that, depending on the software you use, might be better or worse from your perception. We're going to talk about these things. The thing about the Flex is, from your initial viewpoint, from the first look, this looks like a intermediate to professional controller. And there are a lot of intermediate tools on this device. But if you watch my scratch videos, you'll know I believe this is an intermediate controller with beginner tendencies. That's copywritten. Don't take that. The jog wheels. The jog wheels are definitely intermediate to professional wheels. They feel good. They're large style capacitive platters. They spin well, although they don't spin as well as, say, the CDJ variants or even the DDJ 1000. They're a little less fluid than your high-end models. But the displays, even though they don't have the color displays of like your DDJ 1000, the markers that exist are very usable and very functional. The channel strip, definitely an intermediate feature. This looks a lot like the DDJ 1000, or if you move up to some of their full-fledged DJ mixers, this channel strip looks and feels very much like that. However, I do have an issue with the channel strip. The lack of knobs really affect your ability to switch between effects. I don't like the fact that I have to 8-track my way all the way through the channels and or the effects without being able to just quickly switch to it like found on the DDJ 1000 and some of the other mixers. Intermediate, the 4 channels. Now, I don't typically need 4 channels in a controller like this, where you're gonna get some people that maybe are more entry moving into that mid-level. I don't know if they'll need the 4 channels also, but they're here, they work well. As far as the mixer panel is concerned, it's fine. It's nothing to write home about. The upfaders are okay. They feel like any entry-level controller. The crossfader. Crossfader, a lot of people have really talked poorly about the crossfader. I didn't find the crossfader as bad as some have said in their videos. What I did feel is once you adjusted the cut-in to like maximum settings in Serato or in Rekordbox, I felt that the cutting in was fine. Look, it's never going to be an amazing crossfader because it's definitely a beginner to mid level, probably somewhere in the middle crossfader, but you're still able to cut in. You can crab, you can transform. All of those things are available to you. Build quality wise, there's a flex to all of the stems. Even your browser knob has a little bit of flex. Beginner tendencies. This right here, these RCAs are definitely beginner tendencies. Now, on my previous video, I think people misunderstood when I said manufacturers should do away with RCAs. I didn't mean get rid of RCAs. There's definitely a use for RCAs. What I meant was stop using RCAs as your dominant outputs, meaning your master out, your booth out. Get away from using RCAs for that. That doesn't serve a purpose to me. Yesterday, I went to test this out on one of my live streams, and the first thing that I ran into, the first issue was I didn't have any of the available connections to plug into my mixer. The reason why I have this problem is because everything I use has either an XLR output or a 1/4 inch output. I don't have RCAs to 1/4 inch or RCAs to XLRs available to me. Now, can you get them? Of course. Should I have to? Not in 2021. Your mileage may vary. And if you're using some home stuff, of course, RCAs are probably going to be the logical input for you. Plugging this into like a AV receiver, RCAs make sense. But if anybody's attempting to become a slightly more professional DJ, this is going to be more of a hindrance than it is a benefit. Another beginner tendency, the pad modes here. The pad modes are actually fine. The buttons are fine. They feel good. They have a nice little soft pad flex to them, except for the fact that they are not RGB. These are all one color, blue. Is that a problem? Not if you're a beginner and you're just coming online and all you know is that there's blue for all pad settings. But if you've used any other controller with RGB pad modes, this can be a little annoying. Now, there are two main issues that I have with this controller. One, completely out of Pioneer's control. Two, 100% in Pioneer's control. Now, when I was using this controller the other night, I won't lie, I was exceptionally frustrated with the merge effects button on this system. And it left me confused at why this was a major selling point of this controller. And then I understood why. You see, for whatever reason, Serato's implementation of the merge effects is lacking at best. This strip right here utilizes Serato effects. There are no standalone effects in this controller. So you have your 6 effects, 3 on one side, 3 on the other. You can select your effects and you can run them. They run perfectly. No issue with this strip. However, when you activate merge effects, depending on which one you use, they completely take over your entire effects panel. And when I say take over, I mean literally change the effects that you have set for your effects panel. They don't change back until you go back to like merge effect 1. But let's say you move over to merge effect 2 or 3, where they offer their kind of noise coloring into play. While you have effect 3 set up, that is going to be the dominating effect in your channel strip. So if you were trying to run some effect over here, you are now at the mercy of whatever effects you chose over here. The reason that I'm spending so much time on this is because if you use Rekordbox, all of this goes away. There are no issues with the merge effects. Under Rekordbox, I understood what Pioneer was trying to do with the implementation. It works the way it's supposed to. You have your effects, they work well. You have your series of 4 different style color effects, but your channel strip effects don't get affected. They're not taking over the channel strip. So for that reason alone, at this point, Rekordbox is a much better option for the Flex. In Serato, I would not actually recommend using the merge effects. I would just use my channel strip, kind of like you do it in the DDJ 1000 where you have your dedicated effects. That's how I would use the Flex. Last but not least, let's talk a little bit about the jog cutter and then we're gonna head out. I don't have a problem with the jog cutter. A lot of people will say, you're replacing the DJ, you're making it too easy for people to actually DJ and scratch without knowledge and without training. I'm going to say that is not the case. The jog cutter is not replacing you as a scratch DJ. In my opinion, it doesn't remotely sound like actual scratching. Yes, there are a couple of little modulations that if you pull them at the perfect time, definitely sounds like you're doing a scratch. It's few and far between, and it's not really a natural way of scratching. So I think your careers are safe, scratch DJs. I don't think there's anything to worry about. Another problem with the jog cutter is it's not realistic with your scratches. You're never going to do a scratch and then not release the scratch at a certain point. So the fact that when you release the scratch, the sound goes away, that's not gonna be natural feeling for you. If you wanna know how to be creative with the jog cutter, check out Prion Joni's video about it. He goes into detail of how to make it sound a little more artistic, a little more creative, rather than being just a scratch novelty, so to speak. Price-wise, I said it in my thoughts video, at $600, I do feel like this is a tad higher than it needs to be. I would have been more comfortable at around $499. I do love the jog wheels. Jog wheels are fantastic, and that's going to be the major selling point for this mixer. And I have a feeling that a lot of people that are looking at the DDJ 1000 and can't afford it are going to take a hard look at this controller. All right, let me know what you think about this mixer. Let me know if this is a controller that you were looking at. And Give me the reasons why. I'd like to know in the comments below. If you found this video useful, hit that like button. If you found this video really useful, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow me on the Instagrams and the Twitters. Get on my Discord, link in the description. That's where we talk about all things related to gear, related to my Wake Up in Cleveland show, and just everything else. Always a pleasure. If I don't talk to you later, we'll talk soon. Peace.